And our top focus this news wheel, because we are receiving breaking news update in the Chandan Mishra Paras Hospital murder case. The police is currently interrogating 10 security guards of that very hospital. Raids are also being conducted from Phulwari Sharif in Patna to Ara and Baksar over the same case. The accused have been identified based on the CCTV footage that surfaced just a short while ago, and the armed goons can be seen in the footage entering the hospital. Chandan Mishra, the man who was out on parole, undergoing treatment at a particular hospital, for unidentified assailants making their way quite easily in this empty hallway, like you can see, each of them brandishing their own pistol and weapon, loading the piece one by one before they enter the ward. Point blank range murder. Another example of how lawlessness has gripped the state of Bihar. And the armed goons can be seen in the footage entering the hospital lobby quite freely, taking out their pistols as they enter room number 209 that you can clearly see on your screens as well, firing shots at Chandan Mishra, who was admitted on parole and fled the scene, the hospital. The footage has raised serious questions on the security lapse in the hospital and whether the security staff itself was compromised or not.
ये बड़ी दुखद घटना है क्योंकि पारस जो एक काफ़ी प्रसिद्ध अस्पताल है पटना का, उसके एकदम हॉस्पिटल के अंदर हुआ है। पारस की अपनी भी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था है, उसको पूरा लांघते हुए और अपराधकर्मी उसके अंदर गए हैं और अंदर जाकर के घटना को कारित की है। ये एक चिंता का विषय है। इस संबंध में हम लोग पारस की सुरक्षा व्यवस्था का भी जायजा लेंगे कि क्यों ऐसा हुआ, कौन लोग ड्यूटी पर थे, और पारस जो प्रबंधन है उसका ध्यान आकृष्ट करेंगे। जो मृतक हैं वो पूर्व में काफ़ी दुर्दांत अपराधकर्मी रहे हैं और इनका बक्सर में आतंक था। इनके विरुद्ध दर्जनों हत्या के कांड हैं। हत्या के कांड में ये सजा याफ्ता भी हैं। फांसी की सज़ा इनको हुई थी, जो बाद में अपील में वो आजीवन कारावास में कन्वर्ट हो गई थी। उसके अलावे भी इन पर कम से कम 3 दर्जन कांड अभी भी ट्रायल में है। तो ये खुद भी एक सातिर अपराधकर्मी रहे हैं, बक्सर के आतंक रहे हैं। अभी ये पेरोल पे इलाज कराने के नाम पर ये आए थे। इसकी भी जांच की जाएगी कि वास्तव में इलाज इनका कुछ होना था या इलाज का बहाना बना करके अपने किसी गतिविधि को अंजाम देने के लिए आए थे। ऐसा बताया जा रहा है कि ये पाइल्स का ऑपरेशन कराने के नाम पे शायद बाहर आए हैं। तो देखना पड़ेगा कि इनका पाइल्स का ऑपरेशन हुआ नहीं हुआ, तो ये सब जांच का विषय है।
Colleague Samya Kapoor joins us from the newsroom here. Samya, we earlier heard the Bihar ADG also come out with that bizarre statement. And, keeping the interrogation aside, it seems like politics is also reaching fever pitch right around this. Nitish Kumar, he's announced that 125 units of free electricity starting the 1st of August. But I think this is not going to augur well for the RJD and BJP combine, for the return of Jungle Raj seems to be taking over headlines across the state.
Well, Kabir, clearly as far as Nitish Kumar is concerned, it's a case of misplaced priorities on his part. He's only got his eyes fixed on the upcoming assembly elections in Bihar and not the current state of law and order in the state. For the lack of a better word, like RJD has been maintaining, is that it seems it's a case of a Jungle Raj 2.0 that is unfolding in Bihar. We are not saying it, but the main opposition party, RJD, is saying it. The former Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Tejasvi Yadav, is saying it. And can we fault him when he says it? It's because there's been a case of more than 10 deaths in less than 2 weeks that we here at News9 have been consistently reporting almost every day. We get you stories from the ground in Bihar where there have been these appalling cases. What we are playing on the screens right now, Kabir, we've never really seen something like this happen. It looks like it's a scene from a movie or a sitcom on the OTT platform. You see these brazen group of goons who enter a hospital with impunity. They feel they can get away with it because there seems to be no fear of law right now. And of course, these cases are on the rise, and these are going to become the Achilles heel for Nitish Kumar government come the election. The opposition is constantly mounting attack on the Nitish government, specifically on the issue of law and order. He will have to do a lot of explaining. The action that has now been taken is belated in nature. Why can't they be, this is a private hospital. The security at a private hospital is expected to be better than what it is otherwise. How could these men enter with arms? It raises some serious question on the lapses are concerned. Security not only of the particular person on parole who has now been shot dead, but even other medical staff, doctors, nurses, other patients, their family members, all of them are present in that particular Paras hospital at that particular point in time. And it looks like it was a cakewalk, a red carpet that was laid for these goons that they can comfortably enter, carry out this murder and get away with it.
No, you're absolutely right. Samya, we've earlier heard the RJD spokesperson also come on our channel and say that, this is the murder Raj, this is not the jungle Raj, the murder Raj. But I think political optics is going to make sure that people constantly compare what happened before 2005 and what's happened after 2005. What side of the Libra scale is finally going to tilt towards? Are people going to not look at the lawlessness at hand right now, but constantly compare the Nitish Raj with the Lalu Raj? And that's how election and voting is going to go on? This comparison is bound to happen, Kabir, but we cannot really trivialize the fact that this is happening right now. We have better technology, we have better security parameters. The safety net around a hospital should have been way better than how it was during Lalu Prasad's regime. So there is no really excuse that we can possibly compare that, there were so many cases that happened that time and it's comparatively lesser. But it's happening in broad daylight. It goes on to show that there's an absolute collapse of law and order, and one after the other, consecutive days, there seems to be no lessons learned. And we are waiting to see if Nitish Kumar himself is going to be making a statement on it, because he's only announcing SOPs with his eye on the prize as far as the Bihar Assembly election is concerned. But as far as the opposition is concerned, the RJD and the Congress party, they are consistently building the heat on Nitish Kumar, and they will sustain it until the upcoming assembly elections in Bihar. You're absolutely right. Some statement needs to come out of the JDU-BJP combined, let alone the Home Minister of the state at this point in time. Lawlessness, brazen attacks, and this one, like you pointed out, straight out of a Hollywood movie. People coming in as if a red carpet is quite rightly laid for them, going inside room number 209 and at point blank range carrying out that entire murder. Samya, many thanks for joining us and helping us out with those details. And we were pointing out towards that bizarre statement coming from the Bihar ADG, because another year, another election, and this time it's Bihar's turn, and the political landscape in the state is heating up. But whilst the barbs are generally exchanged between politicians, this time a bizarre statement coming from Bihar ADG Kundan Krishnan, indirectly blaming farmers for the rising criminal activity. Krishnan said that the reason there have been more murders between the months of April and June is because there is little farm work. Here's exactly what he said.
इधर हाल में जो काफ़ी हुआ है कि शूटर्स कई हत्याएं हुई हैं, होती पूरे बिहार में, और इस माह मई जून में ज़्यादा मर्डर होते आई है वर्षों से। अप्रैल मई जून जब तक बरसात नहीं होती है ये सिलसिला जारी रहता है, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर किसान को कोई काम नहीं रहता है। एक बरसात होने के बाद लोग, कृषक समाज के लोग व्यस्त हो जाते हैं और घटनाएं घटती है। परंतु आप लोग के द्वारा, प्रेस के द्वारा हत्या पर हत्या, कुछ इस वर्ष चुनाव भी है तो राजनीतिक दलों के द्वारा भी इस पर ज़्यादा नज़रिया दिया गया है, तो उसको लेके भी हम लोग चिंतित थे कि हाँ, नवयुवक ज़्यादा पैसा के लिए सुपारी किलिंग शुरू कर दिए हैं, तो एक नया सेल इसी माह हम लोग गठन किए हैं।
Moving on, a 5-member investigating team probing the June 12 Air India plane crash that took place in Ahmedabad are now looking at possible technical snags that could have led to the fatal accident, killing 260 people, including 241 on board, including the crew. And the probe is now going to ascertain the possibility of technical snags in the electrical and software components of the aircraft, possibly triggering those uncommanded actions that are still being speculated. A report in a leading daily, quoting an official, said that a pilot flying the same aircraft from Delhi to Ahmedabad had noted in the technical log a stabilizer position transducer defect. Now, the stabilizer position transducer is a sensor. This sensor controls the aircraft pitch and transmits the data in electrical signals to the flight control system to ensure that responses to pilot input are accurate and robust. The newspaper further reported that the officials said that this malfunction was checked and the engineer did the troubleshooting as per Boeing procedures. The investigators are now believed to dig deep into this history of technical fault or malfunction in the course of the aircraft's life. A month and a half on from that tragic Ahmedabad crash. More than 3 reports, various probe agencies now digging deep, a slew of inspections and compliance issues that have been ordered by the civil aviation watchdog, and yet answers that remain, questions that remain unanswered, beg your pardon. Moving on, in a dramatic turn of events, the Karnataka government has now decided to initiate criminal proceedings against 2 of the state's most high-profile cricketing entities, the Royal Challengers Bangalore and the Karnataka State Cricket Association. That's the big breaking development we're bringing to all our viewers. This is a dramatic turn of events vis-a-vis the Chinnaswamy Stadium stampede case, and the Karnataka government has decided to initiate criminal proceedings against 2 of the state's most high-profile cricketing entities, the RCB, the cricketing club, Royal Challengers Bengaluru, and the Karnataka State Cricket Association, the KSCA. And this follows damning findings from a detailed report submitted by retired Judge Michael Kunia, which uncovered serious irregularities in their operations. The matter was taken up during a cabinet meeting today, where the government reviewed the contents of the Kunia report and unanimously recommended strong legal action. Sources indicate that the irregularities are not limited to administrative lapses, but may involve financial misconduct and regulatory violations as well. But the cricketing bodies aren't the only ones in the crosshairs. The report also paints a troubling picture of the police's inaction. Several officers, it notes, failed to intervene at crucial moments or acted with negligence, raising serious questions about complicity or willful oversight. Disciplinary action against these officers has also been recommended by the Michael Kunia report, and criminal charges could also follow to that end. The government is reportedly taking the recommendations of the report very seriously and is preparing for a full-fledged legal offensive. If charges are filed, this will mark one of the most significant legal escalations involving sport authorities and law enforcement in the state's recent history. My colleague and Deputy Managing Editor, News9, Kartike Sharma, joins us on the phone line here. Kartike, it seems to be a troublesome moment for these 2 cricketing bodies, criminal proceedings against not just the State Cricketing Association, but now RCB as well. And mind you, this is the Kunia report, not to be mixed up with the state report that had already been submitted to the court, where Virat Kohli again is mentioned. But criminal proceedings against 2 of the state's biggest cricketing authorities and bodies.
Absolutely. You see, the state government, on the basis of this report, has decided to file criminal cases against RCB and the Karnataka State Cricket Association. The decision basically follows findings from the report submitted by Michael Kunia revealing serious irregularities. This matter was discussed during the cabinet meeting, and it was decided that the strong action needs to be taken. This marks sort of a legal escalation involving prominent cricket entities in the state. So, 1, the police official will face scrutiny. Now, the Kunia report also says that there was negligence in handling the matter. It also confirms that the several senior officers failed to act appropriately during key stages. The report includes recommendation for disciplinary action against the responsible officers. There is a possibility of criminal charges being filed against the personnel involved. The government is also seriously considering the report's suggestion for the action. Now, I would say that with this, RCB is in a lot of hot water, 1. Secondly, this will spark a lot of debate in Karnataka, because a lot of politicians were also there. You know, everyone is being blamed except politicians who were on dais, because ultimately, when this whole, the whole Jamboree was being organized, even the politicians were at forefront of it. They shared the dais. They were all there. So, just to blame it on the officers a lot of retired police commissioners, DGP had protested against it. They said this is incorrect. The responsibility has to be shared by a lot of people. Then it also brings into focus the responsibility of the celebrities. So there is no prima facie, I would say, statement made by the Kunia Committee report or even by the state that they are responsible. But it's also about how do you have to act on social media. I really don't want to get there because that's an ask of the state government. But I would definitely say that it was a case of huge mismanagement. It was a case of big negligence, and it was also a case where there was no proper planning that was required to cater to 50,000 people or 60,000 people in a city like Bengaluru. And thirdly, it's sort of a litmus test for Siddaramaiah. Very rarely it becomes Chief Minister versus bureaucracy. But Mr. Siddaramaiah, what he's doing is that he has actually consolidated former bureaucrats. I remember in my own show, the former DGP spoke against him. It very rarely happens, So there are a lot of implications to it,
Yep.
There are a lot of implications to
Absolutely.
but I don't see it from the context of
Karthikeyan,
just,
back-to-back
putting
litmus tests for the Chief Minister of the state. We're also joined by Gautam Shankar, my colleague, who's joining us live on the broadcast here. He's been tracking developments very keenly ever since the Chinnaswamy Stadium stampede actually happened. Gautam, help the viewers understand the breaking developments. Firstly, the state taking up the recommendations of the Kunia report. What does this mean for the Karnataka State Cricketing Association and RCB? But that very state report, which again was put forth by the state to the court, mentions Virat Kohli as well, seems to be an easy target right now. But like Karthikeyan was telling us, it's another litmus test, a very serious one for the Siddaramaiah government right now.
Absolutely, a big litmus test indeed. And while facing this litmus test, the Karnataka government has basically sought to basically put the blame on everyone else, except having a scrutiny of their own role in the stampede that took place at the Chinnaswamy Stadium on June 4th. Now, keep in mind that there were two big developments that took place today. Let's start with the latest, that is the government acting on the Michael Kunia report. Now, what we understand is that the state government has decided to file criminal cases against RCB and the Karnataka State Cricket Association. Now, when you say you're going to file criminal cases, this is basically saying that you are solely responsible for the death of the 11 people that took place at the Chinnaswamy Stadium on June 4th. And what this also means is that further trouble, not just for the KC officials, but Nikhil Sosale, who's already been in police custody as well. Now, the decision also follows this intense scrutiny that's happened from Michael Kunia. Basically, there's a judicial probe that was ordered by the Karnataka government themselves, and this on the back of a CID probe. And not just that, we also had a magisterial probe led by the Bangalore Urban DC as well. And amidst all of this, keep in mind that today what the Karnataka High Court has done is that it has revealed the sealed envelope report that was given by the Karnataka government as well. Now, the Karnataka government basically sought to keep the content of this sealed envelope private. They asked the High Court not to reveal the details, but the Karnataka High Court has gone on and revealed it. And this report also goes on to show that the scrutiny that has happened from the Karnataka government basically indicates blame on everyone, the RCB, the DNA networks, which was the organizing management committee there as well, and KSCA, then the police officials were suspended.
You're absolutely right, Gautam. I'm going to say it again. And on record, of course, as well. To the layman, that very day, what happened in front of the Vidhana Sauda, one would easily think maybe Virat Kohli was, being sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister alongside DK Shiv Kumar. It was pictures galore. Everybody was trying to have a gala time, trying to make sure they had a little piece of the RCB's victory as well. But now this Kunia report being taken up, the recommendations being taken up by the state government, it says police failed to act appropriately. So needless to say, the police is set to face scrutiny as well. RCB, on the other hand, even in the courtroom today said that even before the toss happened for the final match, we had already informed the police that in case Royal Challengers ends up bagging this trophy, there is going to be a parade and a procession that is carried out. We've seen that happen in Gujarat, in Mumbai so many times, with the international level and the IPL level as well. But now the police's negligence, I think that needs to be stronger focus that needs to be paid on police's inaction and police's negligence. From that very day when Vajji was on top of that bus, showing us pictures of what happened at one of those gates as well. You know, brazen lathi charge, and maybe that lathi charge also pushed people inside as well. So police's negligence and inaction is going to be strongly focused on now, isn't it?
Absolutely, because that is the second part of the probe that is going to be ordered here. Now, following the report from retired Justice Michael D'Cunha, the report basically highlights the police negligence in handling the matter. And the report basically also confirms that several police officers failed to act appropriately during key stages. And the report also includes recommendations for disciplinary action against responsible officers as well. But keep in mind here, the Central Administrative Tribunal actually took note of this issue, and they conducted an inquiry and found that the police were not at fault. And also it reinstated, it asked the state government to reinstate ACP Virat Kohli as well, basically stating that the CAT findings were basically that to say that the police did not have time to prepare, and the required permissions were actually not quite denied, but they said they tried to delay it. And keep in mind that on the night of June 3rd and the following morning, June 4th, there was a massive celebration that took place. And then the following day, we had this celebrations of felicitation at the Vidhan Sauda, first of all, which the government initially sought to deny. But then when it came to the matter of the Karnataka governor being invited there as well, the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah put his hand up and said, yes, indeed, it was a government event, and we did invite Thawarchand Gehlot as well. But following this, he also fired his political secretary as well and put the blame on him. So there's a lot of blame game happening, but the police themselves with the Central Administrative Tribunal saying that there is no real blame on the police. Now you need to reinstate this police officers. The Karnataka government is basically doubling down on their side of the report and saying that the police are at fault and they're going to take additional disciplinary measures. Now, keep in mind that several of these police officers are already suspended. And now we have this additional measures that will come on based on Michael D'Cunha report. So that will be something interesting to watch out for as well, Kabir.
No, you're absolutely right. Before I let you go, Gautam, some important questions that are racing past my mind. First and foremost, one needs to take a look at why the Royal Challengers Bengaluru went through with their social media attraction for all these fans to come and make their way towards the stadium when there was no permission from the police. Let's not take the star player's name right now because it's easy to make him the target at this point in time. The RCB should be accountable for what great things that man has achieved for their respective team. Now, secondly, the police, even after not giving that go-ahead for this particular rally to be carried out, there were still cops on the entire road, and we were speaking about the same thing that very day as well. When you saw so many people entering the Bengaluru municipality limits, there should have been a red flag that should have been raised in various war rooms and control rooms. That's question number 2. And thirdly, with the CAT, and today the court has also quipped that CAT, it was beyond their jurisdictional powers to shunt Vikas Kumar out, and he was reinstated later on as well. Are we going to see more action taken on these top cops in the near future as well? And out of these 3 questions, if there's any further more questions that need to be answered, do help the viewers understand that as well, Gautam.
Absolutely, Kabir, because keep in mind, we just need to go back in time a little bit here, because when the incident happened itself, the kind of response that was given by the state government was that we did not expect such a big crowd because the stadium capacity is around 60,000. So we thought just around 45,000 people will turn up, but there were around 3.5 to 4 lakh people that turned up. And keep in mind that a lot of them attended the Vidhan Sauda felicitation ceremony as well. And the police were very, very ill-equipped. And this concern was raised. We have shown multiple letters that were also sent to the DPAR as well by the police department, basically highlighting concerns. They did not deny the permission for holding the felicitation, but they did highlight severe concerns that they are not equipped to handle a large crowd. But it was also on part of the Home Ministry and the government to act on this concerns that were raised by the police department. But instead, what we are seeing is that 3 probes were ordered by the government themselves, a judicial probe, a magisterial probe, a CID probe. All of these probes are finding one thing in common. The police are at fault, the RCB is at fault, the KACA is at fault, and the DNA networks is at fault. And there is no scrutiny happening on the government side whatsoever. This is very strange to see the Karnataka government actually doubling down against its own police officers and stating that they are at complete fault here. And despite them, the CAT tribunal themselves saying that, okay, RCB is actually at fault for this as well. But the Karnataka government is still doubling down and saying that it's not just RCB, the police are at fault as well. So it will be an interesting couple of days here, because now
Absolutely.
with action being recommended by the Michael Justice Kunya report here, it will be interesting to see what actually further action they are going to take, because B. Dayananda, the former police commissioner who was in charge back then, has sought to play, has actually been very quiet on the matter. Vikas was the one who moved CAT and then got relief, and the CAT actually recommended
That's
that
absolutely right.
the other police officers
So
get
will
relief as well.
more
But that
cops now
hasn't
face the
happened.
door? Will now more cops be shown the door? And what does this criminal proceedings now mean for the two biggest cricketing bodies of the state, the KSCA and RCB, Royal Challengers Bengaluru? What a great victory for them, isn't it, Gautam? I mean, they just bagged that trophy, and this entire controversy is just not dying down. And what Karthikeya also pointed out, big question.